Hey everyone, Ryan here at eTrailer. Today on our 2017 Ram ProMaster City, we're going to be showing you how to install the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring harness. Before we do that though, take a minute, check this out, and make sure it's going to work for you. So with these ProMaster Cities, it seems like the vast majority of people out there use them as a work vehicle, right? And a lot of times that'll include you having to pull some trailers around. And if that's what you plan on doing, you're going to need a way to power up the lights on that trailer. That way you're not only safe, but it's a legal requirement as well. This kit is going to have the 4-way flat type connector, which is a really common type of trailer wiring. You just get your basic functions. You'll get your tail lights, your brake lights, and your turn signals. With that said, if you need a 7-way, if your trailer has a round type connector on it, or it has electric brakes on it, or anything like that, you can build off of this kit. It's kind of a good starting point to allow you to have or be able to hook those other types of trailer wiring up. So for example, if your trailer has brakes on it, you could always use this in conjunction with the etrailer.com universal brake controller install kit. And of course you need to pick up a brake controller, and that'll apply those trailers brakes. Or if you just need a 7-way round connector, you can always get an adapter that converts this into that style. So you can really do a lot with this. Compared to the other wiring kit available, they're both going to work the same way. No major differences really between the two. And you really can't go wrong with either one. They're well thought out, and will power up those lights. Other than that, at the end of the day, the kit is going to be well built and get the job done, so you should be in pretty good shape. As far as the installation goes, it's not that it's really complicated. There's just a lot of routing. You have to kind of run everything through the frame, if you will, or the structure of the vehicle, up around top, and you don't have a ton of room to get to everything, put it that way. So stay patient. I definitely suggest picking up maybe some nylon air tubing, probably 8 or 10 foot of 1/4-inch line. It really helps, being able to drop that through first, connect your wires to it and pull it up into place. Or if you have something else that'll work, great. But that's one of the tools you're definitely going to need is a pole or fish wire. Speaking of installation though, why don't we go ahead and get started on it now. To begin our installation, we're going to be here at the back of our ProMaster. And open up your doors, and first thing we're going to do is get the taillights removed. We're going to have 3 big Phillips head screws holding the lights in place. So go ahead and pull those out. And whatever I do to one side of the vehicle, we're going to do to the other side as well, because it's going to be set up the same way. To actually get the lights out, close the door about halfway. And a lot of times you can just pull straight back on them. If they're in there really tight, you can use something like this. This is a trim tool. Help give you a little extra leverage to pry it free. So I have to work it out of position here. And then we're able to get it disconnected. The connector plug on the back of the light is going to have this tab here, and when you push down on it, you can separate it from the tail light. We'll set our light off to the side for now. We can start to get our wiring in place now. So over here on the driver's side, I'm going to fish wire some of our trailer wiring into place. So I have a piece of tubing, nylon tubing that I'm going to be using. Can also use a thick piece of wire or take a metal coat hanger, straighten it out. Something like that. But I'm going to take one end of this and put it through the opening in our tail light pocket and push it up. And there's an opening in this top corner here. Thankfully it's still somewhat exposed from our shelves. But I'm just going to work this up into place until we get the end of this fish wire out through that opening. I took the end of our trailer wiring harness, the T connector that has the white, brown, red, and yellow wires going to it, taped it to our pull wire, and then I'm just going to feed this up through that opening pulling our fish wire here. Until we get our connector out through the hole in our taillight pocket. So I'll go ahead and get all this tape removed and get our pull wire off of our harness. We'll take the end of our T-connector that matches up with our factory harness coming out through this hole here. Those will plug into each other. And then this white wire with the ring terminal on it, that's going to be a ground. And just make sure I'm clear here. I think I'm just going to attach this probably right there in that area. And I'm going to do that using the provided self-tapping screw. At this point, we can grab our tail light and the other end of our connector. We'll plug that in and then reinstall our light the opposite way that we removed it. Now we're going to need to get our green T-connector wire over to the passenger side. So what you can do, our vehicle has a little dome light here in the middle, and I just pop that out. There's some tabs on it here, so you can take a flathead screwdriver or something, come in from the side and lightly apply pressure and kind of work that thing out. And I just unplugged it. Squeeze that tab there. And I took a pull wire, pushed it through here to that same opening that we used a minute ago. All right, so that's where it came out. I taped our green T-connector wire to it, and I'm going to feed it in place until it comes out through here. It's able to pull our T-connector through here, and just kind of a pointer when you're running that fish wire, inside of here there's some little brackets, support brackets that are in there, and make sure you're on top of those. If not, that connector plug is too big to fit underneath of them. So got it to this point, then took another pull wire, ran it over and out of that square hole on this taillight pocket, just like we did over on the driver's side. And I'll go ahead and feed this green T-connector all the way through and get it out of this opening over here. Got the connector out through the opening, and just like the other side, one end plugs into the factory wiring there, other end goes into the tail light, and with everything plugged in, we'll get our light reinstalled. Moving underneath the vehicle now, on the driver's side, right here in this area, just behind our rear tire, on the flat part of the outside of the frame, there's going to be a grommet that we can remove. Here's what that grommet looks like, and to get it out, you can just take a flathead screwdriver, pop it out, and you want to hold on to it because we will be modifying it a little bit and reinstalling it here in a moment. Back inside the van now, on the driver's side rear corner, you'll have this panel here. Ours has a little 12-volt plug on it. I popped that out the same way that we did the light up top. There's this little clip there that you can pry on and pop this out, and that'll just give us another access point to get to, because we are going to have to fish wire some more wiring from the top all the way down through here and out of that hole where we pulled the grommet from on the underside. The wires that we're going to route down to the outside of the vehicle, you're going to have your 4A flat connector and the big bundle of power wire. Okay, so we want to hook this up first, the power wire. And what you're going to do is take one end of the wiring, strip the insulation back a little bit, This is how we're going to make all the connections, whether it be a butt connector or ring terminal. Just take the butt connector, slide over the bearing to the wire, crimp it down, grab the other end, put it onto the black wire coming out of our box there, and get it crimped. So what I've done, I took a pull wire from that top opening there in the corner and ran it down to that little cover that we popped off on the driver's side here on the inside. Taped our power wire and our 4-way flat wiring to it, and we'll feed that all the way down to that opening. I was able to fish wire everything out through that opening, and then I removed our pull wire, and from this opening I pushed it down through that opening on the bottom of our vehicle where we pulled that grommet out. And then with that done, you could retape the 4-way flat and that power wire to it, work it out from underneath of our vehicle. With our wiring all routed to where it needs to go for the most part, at least inside here, I'm going to secure our converter box. Just put on some sticky tape on the back of it, and I'm just going to put it inside of this opening where all of our wires are at. More or less wherever I can reach, and secure it to the body of our vehicle. Underneath of our vehicle, this is where our wires came out, and I took that grommet, cut a slice in it in a small opening. That way, the wires will run through it. And I'll go ahead and push this back into place here. Once you get that grommet pushed back in place, it's not a bad idea to seal it up, just to keep everything, contained and whatnot. So I applied some RTV silicone onto that grommet where the wires come through it. You can get these ran now. We'll start with our 4-way flat. This just comes up along on top of our trailer hitch there, where I have it drop down, and using the dust cover to secure it to the safety chain openings on our hitch. For our power wire, that's going to run up into the engine compartment up by our battery. When you're routing any type of wiring, do your best to avoid any hot or moving parts. Use zip ties to secure it every now and again. This is going to run along through here and on the side of our frame rail, where it continues along. Up through here, and then drops down, and it helps. There's a panel here. There's just a couple plastic fasteners holding it in place, at least this edge of it you can undo, and just follow these factory lines. And it kind of disappears in this area, but it's going to go up into the engine compartment, and what I did should be pretty good at it at this point. I just used a fish wire, dropped it down from the top by the battery where it comes out the bottom, taped our power wire to it, pulled it right up into place. Here in the engine bay, this is where our wiring came up, and I was able to crimp on a butt connector and then attach that to the included fuse holder. Other end of the fuse holder, crimped on the ring terminal. Make sure the fuse is not installed in this just yet. We're going to hook it up to the battery first. So we'll have a little cover here. You can pop that off. And this nut, this one we'll use, you can remove it with a 10 millimeter. What I think I might do actually, just because everything's so jammed in here more or less, is just take our ring terminal, just cut an opening in it. I'll probably close it up a little bit too, make it a little bit smaller. That way we can just kind of slide it in position there, and then we'll tighten the nut back down. There's not a lot of room to work and got a lot of little pieces going on, so that might just be the best bet instead of dropping something and kind of having to fight with it along the way here. I taped up our butt connector there for a little extra protection, and at this point take our fuse, place it in the holder, and close up the cover. It's a good idea to test the wiring now to make sure that it's working properly. I like to use a tester like this instead of just hooking up to a trailer. And I say it because if the trailer has any issues, it might mislead you into thinking it's something you did on the vehicle side. With that in mind though, we'll try out our left turn signal, our right turn signal. We'll hit our brakes and try our taillights. With all that done, now you're ready to hook up to your trailer and hit the road. But that will finish up our look at and our installation of the Curt custom fit vehicle wiring kit on our 2017 Ram ProMaster City.